All right, so we have a 2016 Volkswagen Passat R-Line. This is the 1.8 turbo that's on this vehicle. Today we're going to be installing a injen cold air intake from Modded Euros. I purchased a couple of items from moddedeuros.com so far, and I've been very satisfied with their customer service and their shipping times. Everything comes exactly the way they say it's going to be. Their prices are pretty decent, so be sure to check them out at moddedeuros.com. They are not sponsoring this, but who knows, maybe someday they will. Like I said, today we're installing the cold air intake from injen. It is model number SP3077, and it fits a number of Volkswagen Jettas and Passats. So it goes from 2014 to 2018 Volkswagen Jetta GLI, the 4-cylinder 2.0 turbo. Also the 2014 through 18 Volkswagen Jetta 4-cylinder 1.8, and the 2014 to 17 Passat 1.8 TSI. So we're going to be putting that in. I'll show you the packaging, the box that it comes in, all the parts that comes along with it, and also the tools that you're going to need in order to do the install. It's a very simple install. It should be probably about a half hour to 45 minutes to install it. Nothing special about it. And it looks cool, and it definitely, it's supposed to give you like 10 horsepower. You know, we'll see. I really doubt that, but nonetheless, it's going to be a cold air intake, polished, and a dry air filter. Okay. And this is the package that it comes in. So if they end up leaving it on your doorstep, hopefully you can get to it rather quickly, because it looks like a pretty cool box and somebody would definitely want to take that. So it's the injen SP3077P. And this is the polished cold air intake for the, I'm using it on the 2016 Volkswagen Passat, but you can see the other models that it will fit. So you can see the packaging is done nicely. You're gonna have your directions and all your couplers along with your hardware. All the pipes themselves are wrapped in plastic, along with being wrapped in paper to keep them clean and not scratched. You can see all the parts down inside here. I'll go ahead. So these are our parts that come included. You're going to have 2-piece for the air intake. This is going to separate the air cleaner, air filter, from the rest of the engine bay. And where we remove the air box, this will be taking place. And a small bit of hardware that comes along with it. So for here, we're going to remove the engine cover. That's just going to make it a little bit easier. We're going to remove the intake pipe, the air box, and the ram air intake, and the ram air elbow also. So these are the tools that I used. You got a Phillips head screwdriver, a Torx 25 and 30, pair of pliers, swivel head with an 8mm socket, and this was a T30 socket, pair of cutters, 10mm wrench, and a 5mm Allen wrench, along with a flashlight. That's all you need. This is the Gen 3 model, and you can tell because of the smog port here. This is going to get removed off of here, and we're going to be reinstalling it onto the air intake pipe. For the last part of the intake pipe that goes down to the turbo, there are two compression clips that you'll use your pliers with in order to remove them from the pipe. For the next step, it's going to be the coupler reducer. You're going to have the smaller side go down towards the turbo. I have it tightened up a little bit. It's ready to go. It does slip right over the top of the turbo. So during this time, you want to make sure that nothing is getting down inside of the turbo. Otherwise, you're going to cause yourself a lot of problems. Next, we're going to mount the vibration mount. That's going to go on the back side where the main intake pipe goes. And that's just going to screw right in to the existing mount. And you can just snug that up with your hand. Here with the heat shield, we have a vinyl trim that goes around the interior of the hole cutout. This is when the pipe goes through, it's not going to be vibrating metal to metal. You'll have a rubber grommet on the inside. Once you put this in here, you will have to trim it to fit. This right here is also a vibration mount, which will be mounted from here, and we'll put the nut and washer on. Doesn't exactly want to go the way I want it to go. And the vibration mount is going to mount from the back side. So it's going to go through the hole, and we will install the washer. Put the nut on. It is a 10 millimeter. Give it a snug, and that's it. So the heat shield is going to mount inside. We're going to utilize the factory front two T25 screws. And the rear mount is going to go into the factory mount. However, we're going to use the supplied hardware, which is an 8 millimeter Allen, and that will mount down inside. We'll go ahead and start off with the front, since they're coarse, and we'll go ahead and mount the 5 millimeter machine thread. Go ahead and snug that. And then we'll grab our T25 and tighten the front screws. Now we're going to install the main intake from the turbo to the extension. This is the factory mount, which we already put the vibration mount. We can't forget about our smog pipe, and that goes down into the turbo. This is a dry filter, so you do not need to put any oil on the outside of it. When you go to clean it, just remove it and use a vacuum cleaner to pull everything out, kind of knock it around a little bit, but definitely don't use an air hose to clean it out from the outside, because what that does is that pushes the particulates into the filter and will suck through here. So remember, vacuum from the outside. One last thing on here is the hood seal, the rubber seal that gets mounted on top here. It just presses onto the top of the heat shield itself. And what that's going to do is allow it to keep cooler air on this side. Obviously it's not going to be perfect because there's still a gap here. So that's it. It's a pretty simple install. Every part that you need is included in this kit. One of the better kits that I've seen. There isn't anything unexpected that shows up. You don't need any really special tools. You're gonna need yourself some Torx, Phillips screwdriver, a pair of pliers, 8mm socket, 10mm wrench, and a 5mm Allen. But that's really about it. Everything went together pretty easy, I think. As far as the skill level, again, very low. I like to make videos to where it's very simple for people to understand. If you have any questions, you can always leave a comment down below. If there's something that you would rather see different, let me know. I know there's a couple of things that I said at the beginning, like taking the engine cover off. I actually forgot to take it off, but it wasn't in the way at all. So you can either take it on or take it off or leave it on. So it really doesn't matter. That didn't make a difference at all. And I will do a full list of tools that I used and photo those. I know I kept adding tools as I went along because I was installing it just as you're watching it. Okay, so it's again, it's not like it's very difficult. Just walking through it one step at a time. Don't try to take off too much at one time. Just make sure that you go through at the end and make sure that everything is tightened up. That would suck if one of the intake hoses came off and you started sucking a lot of dirt. So I'm gonna start it up here in a little bit and I'll do a sound audio bit for it. All right, thanks a lot. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you like what I give, subscribe to my channel. All right, thanks a lot.